Hello, I'd like to welcome to y'all and kind of show you my diorama. If you looked at my videos, which I've only have a few videos on YouTube, it shows the diorama. And today, actually, I really want to show off some cars. Just something I like to do to pass the time, to relax, and really enjoy doing it. But the diorama is something that I started doing. I actually started off with this barn here. Started off that barn, and I thought, that barn needs a place to go because some of my cars, they just look to me better when they go in something or on something like the barn. They look better going in that barn, and of course, the barn looks better on the land, and you shape the land to get it how you want. And to me, it just makes cars look better. And not only that, it's just a hobby. Like I said, something you just do to enjoy, to relax. And this just relaxes me. I have actually built and painted almost all of these cars that I'm showing. There's a few cars that I got from a friend of mine. He's got a YouTube channel. That came from him. Diecast Car Guy for Life. If you guys haven't heard of him, go check him out. He made that. I bought several cars from him. This one here, he made this one too. But same for him too. He likes that one there. He built that one. I bought it. That little crash up derby car and that car on top of the crash up derby car. He built both of them, and that car there. I built the car in a crusher. I got a little junk pile back there. I built that van and that little Dodge Charger back there. All the rest of them, that black 55 Chevy there, he built that one. I did the Cadillac and the buses and all them cars. And anyway, it's just a lot of fun, and a lot of people I see on YouTube doing it too. And just like to get into a little bit more and mess around. I built this car here. It's if anybody could guess, I tried to make it. I think I did all right. Trying to make it to the Joe Dirt car. So that ain't no good. The camera crew needs to learn how to camera a little bit better. There's the Joe Dirt car that I built. It's not spot on, but I think it's pretty good. It's better than the one that you can buy. It's a lot less expensive, I tell you that. A lot less expensive. And a couple other ones I built. This truck here, I didn't build, of course I didn't build this truck. I bought this truck. And it's pretty neat. I do want to do some detail work in the bed. But I put a lift kit on it. I bought two of them. Kind of messing with this one a little bit. I did want to add some more, some paint to it and stuff, but I put a lift kit. I've come up with a way to put a lift kit on these trucks, and you can't really tell too much until you pick up and look at the bottom, how it's done. I think if I do a little painting on that, of course I got to paint the axles and stuff, but I think it'll look better. But I think it made a big improvement on the truck also. if that's what you're into, you know, like jacked up trucks, like I do, and I do. I've had several of them. And this car here, I want to show. Now, I had a couple of these cars too, and I took this car, which it looks good, so I didn't want to mess with it a whole lot. But I ended up making an old clunker out of that car. And, you know, all the windows busted out of it. I cut the door off of it, and I had to put the floorboard in it. Probably should do a little more painting there, but the glue dried, and I just took the bottom of the chassis off of it, so it's set real low to the ground. Cut that fender off, put some different tires and wheels on it. You know, you don't need no good tires and wheels whenever you got no junker laying around, no clunker. So I didn't want to mess that up. So, I mean, I messed it up, but I didn't want to mess it up. But that looks good sitting in the junkyard, I think. Also got this old Ford pickup. Now this is an old truck. I bought it just like this. Now when you bought these new, they came with a camper and some, I think, dogs in the back. This is made in the 70s. And actually 1968 it says. But anyway, there was one that I bought that was pretty messed up. It was, it had the roof kind of caved in a little bit. So what I did was I bought it like that, and I cut them things off the back, and I put a bed cover on it. I don't know. You just don't see them. You just don't see it like that anymore. Probably even didn't back then. I don't know. But anyway, I thought it'd be better with a bed tarp on it. And then I, of course, painted some rust on it. And I put that windshield in it. I used just plastic, like off of, like when you open a Hot Wheels car. That's what that is for windshield. I scratched that all up, of course, to make it look like it's busted up. You know, I just did that with the X-Acto knife. But of course, these trucks turn. So what I did was I kind of wedged something in there to keep that tire turned to look like it folded underneath. See how they turn. So I think that looked pretty good too. I had a lot of fun doing that. Just make your mind just go wherever it wants to go, I guess, you know. Yep, I think that looks good in the junkyard diorama also. Now, of course, most people know this car, the Fast and Furious car, Brian's car. And most people like his car. I love it. It's one of my favorite cars. But, you know, I was thinking one car that I don't think they make is that car when they hauled it in on the rollback to fix up. So I actually did my best to try to make that car, because I got several of these that you can get in a 5-pack, and I studied that car, and I had to cut the top off of it, and I had to cut the wing off of it. Of course, it's a good looking car, so I just, you know, I didn't want to just have a messed up Toyota Supra, and that's a good one. But it might not be to a T, but I did what I could, and I think it looks pretty good. I think it looks like the Fast and Furious car. That, you know, this one, the one before, pretty much before, after. And believe it or not, I think it looks good in the junkyard diorama too. And another thing I did was this old Jeep truck. Good looking old Jeep trucks. These are made in the 70s, 68, 69, 70s, you know. But I think they nailed the body. They nailed the bed, the body. They did a real good job. Made back in the day, they did the best they could with the tires and wheels, I guess you could say. But I come up with my own way. Of course, I put the lift on it. And some bigger tires and wheels, some wider tires and wheels. And myself, I think it looks pretty good. But I also made it a certain way so it could do a little crawling. Little suspension flex there. Of course, they don't have a whole lot of weight to hold it, but you get the idea. And I also did it to another truck. Do a little flexing. Of course, I made another truck, and this one don't flex. But I thought it looked real good. You know, you see them trucks all the time at goes to like bricks with the tractor tires on it, and they run through the mud, and love watching that. I do this a lot more in the wintertime than the summertime because, you know, we have a Jeep and we like to go do some off-roading, and we also have a side-by-side and like to do that too. We like to go floating, like to go fishing, get out there on the lake, you know, so a lot of this don't get done as much in the summertime. But it's just something I like to do, and I figured I'd show some people, whoever wants to watch and enjoy. I'm working on something else. This Jeep I had this Jeep since I was a kid, and I really didn't know what to do with it. And of course, I'm not done with it, but it used to have an engine, and I never remembered this Jeep having a hood or an engine or interior. I don't know where I got it, but I've had it since I was a kid. And of course, it's an older Jeep. It is made in the 70s or upper 60s. So I thought, well, I'm gonna try to do something with it. So that engine block is a 3D printed engine block. The seats and stuff I cut out of something. I don't even remember what it was. Of course, I got to do some little bit of work to it. You know, that shouldn't be there right there where that blue part of the seats are. That shouldn't be there. So I'm gonna try to do something to it, trying to make it cool as I can. And I mean, like I said, I had that when I was a kid, and I probably had a couple of them. I don't know how it ended up like that, but I'm trying to make it better anyway. Also got this Chevy truck here. I did the same thing to it with the suspension. Of course, I lifted it. but I made it where it flex. Now I did that with plastic tubing. Plastic tubing and zip ties. Plastic tubing and zip ties. And the grandkids, they like it too. It's a lot of fun. Keeps you out of trouble. I mean, you have hobbies, you spend money doing this and that. You know, this can be just as expensive or as cheap as you want. My wife would say expensive, but it could be cheap if you watch what you spend and just be careful about it. Anyway, thought I'd let y'all take a peek and see about putting more videos on and maybe getting more involved with the YouTube world. Anyway, y'all have a good one. Check you later.